Hey guys, this is SF and welcome back to SF Academy, and this time it is going to be the boss of the Gravity Front Trials, which is Izanami in Netherworld Portal, and I'll be using the three monsters that they gave us, so Yormungandor, Saito Hajime S, and Pizarro. They're all evolved and at max level. Only Yormungandor has max Morlings, Pizarro has nothing, and then Saito is maxed in terms of in terms of attack and speed. HP is a little bit off, but it should be okay in my opinion. And basically, it's a review of all the stuff that happened in Gravity Front, all the stuff that happened in terms of the gimmicks, all the advanced mechanics that I taught you in that video. So if you're not ready or confused, then confused of what I'm going to say or do in this video, then make sure you review it. Watch it and review it. And my friend's going to be a Nanami, which I did roll in the first video on my very first roll, but I'm not going to use it because it's a hatcher monster in terms of for me. But she is a no gravity barrier as well, and then strike shot is a giant laser, and then EX laser L for the bump combo. Here's the 6-star version, which is really powerful, and of course water, no gravity barrier, also good for Izanami because Izanami is a fire, and her dungeon is basically gravity barriers. And another thing about Izanami is that she is a D&D Slayer, and I'm going to be continuing on with Slayers that I talked back in the first boss stage from Hazard Center, where in terms of Slayers, you want to bring Slayers, which can boost up your attack. So in this case, Izanami is a D&D, so Yormungandor is a D&D Slayer L. And of course Saito Hajime S is a D&T Slayer. Now, a thing that I haven't really told you about is the multipliers. So there are different types of Slayers in terms of types. Well, in terms of kinds of Slayers, I don't know how you will say it, because I guess class of Slayers. So of course there's the types of monsters that they can slay, but each Slayer has a different multiplier depending on the letter after it. So there is Slayer with no letters. There's a Slayer M, which is a ×2 multiplier. So normal Slayer with nothing on it is a ×1.5 damage boost. Slayer M, that is a ×2 damage boost. Slayer L is a ×2.5, and then XL, which is a ×3. Now this applies to everything. So it applies to your normal attacks, so your normal bounces. It applies to strike shots, the strike shot damage, and it also applies to bump combo damage. But the main catch is that that Slayer has to be in the main ability. So like Yormungandor, which is the main ability and not the gauge ability. If the ability for the Slayer is in the gauge, it will not increase the power boost of bump combos and strike shots. Actually, in some strike shots, but for Yormungandor, it does not apply damage to his strike shot. So technically, in terms of damage to Izanami, his D&T Slayer L will deal ×2.5 more. So that's about 21k, 20-ish k. I'll probably put up a number there on the side. So that's why Yormungandor is really good for Izanami, as well as Saito Hajime is also good for at least this dungeon. Yormungandor is really good for the main, for the real Izanami stage, but Saito Hajime is kind of lacking a little bit. But let's talk more into the dungeon. I just wanted to throw that out there just so that you guys understand why these guys are good and why the game gave you these monsters in the first place. Okay, and you start out right at the boss during this is Izanami. So like I said in the in the previous video about revivers, you want to clear off the revivers first, but sadly I want to position for Yormungandor right under Izanami, so I'm gonna bypass the zombie for now. He does revive every single turn, 2 monsters every single turn, so I want to clear him as fast as I can, or I just keep on clearing the monsters themselves, and then just hopefully outlast the revive revives. And as you can see, just from the bump combo alone, it did about 500,000 damage, which is a lot. And oh, I didn't hit Jormungandr. That's not good. That hurt a little bit. And then this should do it. So yeah, in impossible stages, once the main boss or the mini boss die and runs away, then all the other minions will run away along with them. And let's proc. Now this is the hard part because you want to position right under Izanami for Jormungandr. So I'm going to try it like this. Oh, I missed. But of course this is an easy stage, easier version of Izanami, so it's not that big of a deal, but you kind of want to practice positioning for that dungeon. Ouch, that hit two people. But yeah, this stage does a little bit more damage than all the ones that you have encountered. And it's going by really smoothly. Of course, another reason why Side Hajime S is also good, besides his slayers, is the shields. His strike shot can clear the shields really easily. And I want to position. Oh, I guess that's fine. And everybody moves away. And I think Jormungandr is okay for the last bar. Oh, I forgot he's a Pierce monster. That's just my bad. But basically hit Jormungandr's bump combo. For this last stage, the Jabaneros on this stage is really tanky. So you do not really want to be anywhere near their attacks. Or even try to attack them. And I'm going to position under. Hopefully not that much. But yeah, they do quite some damage. But this should be the last shot. There you go. Just because my monsters are all at max level and have some warnings into them, this was relatively easy. Although I did take some damage on the last stage, but most of the time you will have some strike shots depending on how far you get with your monsters in terms of their levels. But it's relatively good, relatively easy. This is the second trial. Once it gets to the later ones, in terms of like 5, 6, or 7, it might get a little bit worse. And then they give you a Thundergriff S, which is a no warp monster. No warp monster. The next tier is all about warps, so I'll be talking about warps during the next set of trials. And I ranked up, which is awesome. And thank you, Nanami friend. See how easy it will be if I actually leveled up my Nanami and ran 2 Nanamis and then wreck this dungeon. So you can still, as you can see, it's really easy just with the monsters that they gave us, so it's not that bad. And last one is the morning stage, so let's deal with that first, and then I'll be talking about no warp monsters, just like a little bit intro to the next tier, because they also give you a good monster for this tier, for the next tier as well. And I'm just gonna go random. It's not that big of a deal that I don't have to position for Jormungandr anymore. Okay. And then they also, just like the previous bonus stage, there is going to be a mini boss which drops. This is Kamadeva. and he drops as well, just like Pizzolo dropped for me. Okay, Max P, come to me. There you go. Okay. But just to recap, the Izanami stage is the hard part, I think, for most beginners is positioning for Yoruba for his bump combo, because that's your main damage source. So I suggest practicing his positioning. You can also miss your gauge shot for the no gravity bear just to be right under Izanami for his bump combo. And I get a Kama Deva. But yeah, if you're having trouble with, like, in terms of the dungeon being like you're taking too much damage, then I suggest clear the revivers first and then clear the minions and then work on Izanami, because the minions do more damage than the boss in my opinion, and you can somewhat avoid Izanami's attacks as well. And they gave you Kamadeva, and I ranked up again, which is awesome. You rank up a lot in this during the first few ranks. And then clearing the missions. Clearing the missions is first I'm gonna clear off the weekly mission, which is going to be complete 10 trial quests. I did complete 10, so I get stones, which is awesome. They're used for evolution stuff, and since you're beginning, you don't really have a lot of resources to actually get those stones and shards. And then if you complete all those weekly missions, you get 1 orb. So you should try to clear them, but it's not that big of a deal. And then I reached rank 13, which gave me 1 Duplexy. And then clearing all these guys, clearing all those tiers, that tier gives me stone shards. And then finally, when you clear Netherworld portal, you get a divine shard, which is used for evolving a 5-star monster to a 6-star monster. So it might be important for in the future, especially if you roll like a 5-star Hatcher monster, and then I get 5 stars for completing the bonus stage. And let's roll some monsters for now. Let's roll that 5 orbs right now, not the shop Hatcher. And right now it's the Fairy Tale Revival. But I'm just gonna do a solo one, and let's see if I get a good monster. If it's a 5-6 star Hatcher monster, then I won't be using it. But if it's like a 4-star, then I'll might use it depending on the monster. And I get John Manjiro. John Manjiro is a double slayer. Is a double slayer monster. He doesn't have any normal abilities. So he is a Vivalock Slayer, and once he evolves, he becomes a Samurai Slayer. His strike shot is relatively, and his evolved form is really different. It's really unique. It is a percentage cut. It's a percentage cut, so monsters that he hits gets a 25% HP reduction. But the main catch is that his speed reduces greatly, so you can't really move. You have to be right beside the monster that you want to decrease the HP of. And then Bump Combo is a Volatile Blast, which is kind of like Giga Blast and all those types of blasts where it procs bump combos, but it's a wider range but lower power. Now, just to intro the next stage, next tier, which is going to be Dimension Travel, which is all about warps. And of course you want no warp monsters, and the game gives you 2 no warp monsters. Let's just do the box right now, just use the box. And first they give you a Thunder Griff S, which is a flight no warp monster. His strike shot is just an increased speed and strength, and then lock on Shockwave 6 For the bomb combo, this is the evolve form. And next one is Kamadeva. This is not the evolve form, this is the 4-star form. He can evolve to a 5-star. He is a no-warp monster. His strike shot is just an increases speed. I'm not sure after he evolves if he increases speed and strength. And then homing shot 8, and then once he evolves, it'll be a better homing shot. I think 12 or 18. I'm not that sure, but you could probably check it out on like strike shot and stuff like that. But those two I'll be using for sure. And the third slot really depends, because all these other monsters don't have no warps, so I might be using some of the monsters that I already added, already maxed out, kind of like my Pizarro. Because the next monster is going to be Kushinada. So she's a wood type monster, so I want to bring a fire type monster into that dungeon. So might be my third slot might be Pizarro for that for the next set of trials. But that's pretty much it for the Gravity Front trial. I've done all the quests and I've done the boss, which is Izanami, which is not that difficult, especially with all your monsters maxed out. It only took me, in terms of days, let's check the days. This is the third day of this account. Some might not be able to do it as fast as me, so don't rush. Don't be in such a hurry. If you really want to safe clear, then I already showed you that all you need is just to max out your monsters. Max level. I think at least max leveling your monsters will be more than enough to clear this whole tier. You don't really have to shoot for mornings, but if you really want to, just for more safety, then by all means do so. But if you have any other questions for this dungeon, for this tier, and in terms of no gravity barrier monsters in general, then by all means leave it in the comments. And I hope you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.